And we're live. Welcome to Earth 2 Comic Cast, where superheroes exist and comic book talk is the norm. It's your boy Mo Crosby. I'm back with
KM.
I didn't know how to do that, so I was gonna let her do it herself.
You
But
just
no.
look like you just like hit the dopest run in the poppy R&B song.
Hey, yeah, we're back. We're back another week to talk about Netflix's La Révolution. French.
I wore the wrong shirt. This is the wrong discussion. Cool.
Oh.
Thought we were talking Star Trek. That's fine. Fucking with you. Let's go.
You can come back later for Star Trek because we do.
I have not watched any of the new series. Number one, I don't have CBS's thingy, so
I would say something, but we're live, so I can't necessarily say it. But
yeah, I had
you
no
know you know where I'm at with it, right? You know where I'm at.
My nigga.
Right. Hey, so last week, before we get into Revolution, last week, someone had commented on the fact that there's 3 distinct backgrounds. There's a background with poos, there's a background with swords, and then there's a background with shoe boxes. Well, Earth 2 Comic Cast for y'all. Like, we are diverse in collections and collecting stuff. So yeah,
we all collect stuff. Everybody has a collection.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I was supposed to send you guys a video, a picture of the other side of my room, which I still So anyways, let's not get sidetracked. Let's get into La Révolution. So, Keem, episode 3, The Innocents. What did you think?
As this series goes along, and we're only into the 3rd episode, I'm digging it more and more. Like,
good.
Okay. And it does not hurt that every episode opens with some sick ass violent scene that always has me like, go on. What's happening here?
Right.
So, yeah.
We kind of got an origin story in this, right?
A little bit of origin story.
Yeah. We got Albert. Yeah, we got. Oh gosh, the French people about to cancel us. If they haven't canceled America already. Right.
My teachers were always very insistent that you have to. It's from
the phlegm.
Yeah. Okay. They didn't say the phlegm, but I feel like what they said in that time, me saying it now, it's just really going to lead to some pause-worthy moments.
Yeah, so. Please don't, because I think I know where you're going with this one.
Yeah,
but yeah, like as you said, as the more it opens up, the more the world opens up, the more the show opens up. I'm like, I dig it. Right? It's not horrible. I mean, that first episode was a little, what the fuck, but now we're getting a lot more information. We're getting a lot. Like the origin story was awesome because now we see how he went from dead to undead.
I'm still just a little really, guys, but yeah, okay,
because it was a little grotesque. It was like a little much. For the show, it's standard, is what you're saying?
I mean, I might also be desensitized a little bit to.
Wow, I think that's what I think is the source behind you. It's the swords. Like, if you collect swords, you are desensitized to gore and violence. Period. That's just what it is.
I disagree, but I think if you watch I can't see real life procedures because I know those are real. Like, I know that stuff is happening.
Okay.
And even in when last episode when Uncle's son stepped and his leg snapped in two. When I tell you, I Gone with the Wind fainted. Like, oh my god. But
man,
violence. It
okay.
Doesn't.
So the leg did it, just not Albert taking an axe to the chest a couple times.
Getting that
black blood
overkill of a shanking.
Yo, seriously, like I didn't know they wanted him that dead.
They wanted him dead. Like
the
And
deadest anybody's ever died before. I've never seen any dead.
nobody's ever died with that amount of death before, and nobody ever will. Okay, it's death.
Before we really get into it, because we're talking about the French Revolution. Election night happened. How have you been since then? Like, it's Saturday, we still don't know.
I've been fat. I am an emotional eater. So basically, I've been biding my time by
Biding
working,
my time.
biding my time by working and figuring out what interesting combination of food am I going to put together today. Like,
Nice,
that's
nice.
that's it. How are you doing?
Oh man, I've listen. I have how do I say this? Because my mom might be watching. um, Food. Let's just say food and other things. You
Cool.
know,
Cool.
I've slept a lot because of the other things, but yes, food.
Cool.
Because it's a little. Huh?
I was going to say, how is it? Like, I'm not sure exactly what area you're in geographically. Like, I know I am
Tri-state.
fortunate enough to be um, in my immediate area. This is a majority Black area.
Oh
So,
yeah. My area is, well, it used, when I first got in here, it used to be very Black. And over, like, in the course of like about a year and a half, it's like
gentrification.
yes, sir. So I mean, they've been cool,
Cool.
I don't know if they were the ones that went to the bridge 2 days before the election, but they've been cool. Actually, they boarded up the city. Boss gave us the day after off,
Nice.
because he was like, "Yo, just take
It
it."
might get real.
Yeah, so that was that for that. But ultimately, I've been good. Eating a lot. I gave myself an excuse this week. I'm like, oh my god, it might be crazy, so I'm not gonna go to the gym. Like, oh my god, I might go to the gym and get stuck there because
Because it might look. I was so mad at myself because Monday night I said I'm gonna go fill up my gas tank, and I'm almost out of milk and toothpaste, so I need to go to the grocery store to get that. And by the time I got done with work, particularly the project that I'm working on that's always so emotionally draining,
right.
I just laid down on the couch. And when I woke up, it was later, and I was like, I forgot to go to the store. So when nothing had been announced on Tuesday, Wednesday morning, I was like, let me get my ass up and go to the grocery store. So I went and got
Just
my
in case,
toothpaste.
right?
I got some more fat girl snacks, and I filled up my gas tank. And I will be in the house.
It's so great that we're talking about this now, but on this show, you can imagine like what the people were going through, because at the time, the French Revolution was kind of boiling up, and so it's like, hey, do we get groceries now? I mean, we're too poor to even get groceries, so like, what's really good?
Yeah, and we would be on the other side. We would be the ones like
they'd be trying to kill. Like, what?
They'd be on the side of the road trying to get me for my sour cream and cheddar baked Lay's. You gonna give up them chips?
Oh, she got Lay's. Get her. But yeah, it's interesting now. Like I said, the show's opened up a little bit. We got the origin story in the beginning. Now, my question is, right, to you. So the placement of the origin of the story we got, if you look at it in terms of, she was they were at the barn, and then now we're at the beach. The shot she heard, or supposedly heard, probably wasn't a shot to kill. Was he taken somewhere else?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of those things where they shot past him or shot in the air so that she could hear it and think that he was dead, and then they got him the fuck up out of there real quick.
So uncle or dad, it was dad who was involved in like taking him out of there. So uncle or dad or both of them decided, no, my daughter's too rich, and she got that rich girl. She got that rap. Right. She got that rap, and we don't need no Poe, in there. So they got him out of there. They put him in the island, and he tries to escape. It's what it looks like, and probably trying to get back to her. Who knows?
So I don't know if you caught it at the beginning, and this is one of those things that really pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
They actually said where he was, like they did the date and
Okay.
location.
I
So
probably
it
missed that.
said, and you are also correct in this hypothesis, it said Louisiana 1783. So they did take him over to the States. But really, niggas, y'all just we just going with this voodoo thing.
No,
Just
seriously,
all the
we
way
just really
through.
gonna go right
We're
all
just
the way into it. Of course, it
this is
had to
what
be
we're doing.
Louisiana. Like seriously, damn, Louisiana really look like that in 17 whenever. Like seriously,
I
because
mean,
it don't look like that right now. Does it
well,
still?
you know what? Well,
The,
I think the thing is when we think Louisiana, we automatically think New Orleans.
you know what?
Because in my
I
mind, I'm like,
mean,
Louisiana ain't got no damn beaches.
I'm
But,
like, no one's don't got no beaches.
but no, New Orleans may not have a beach. And even that I can't confirm because when the
Right.
hotel person told me, stay in this area, I was like, don't go past this street, don't go past that street. And I was like, you
Right.
know what, bitch? You got it.
So
I
yeah,
don't know
he
anybody.
was
I'm not about this life.
right. So he was in America, obviously, and we're really sticking with the voodoo. He was so it looked what I thought, right? So I had to play that beginning twice, and I still don't understand how I missed where he was. It looked like when he was running, there was a shot, and the shot probably missed him and hit the black person in front of him, and of course, and he stops. Like, oh my god, my black friend.
Mm-hmm.
I have black friends.
This was my one black friend.
my
You
black
killed
friend.
him.
Yeah, my black friend is dead, and
Now
he
I can't
stopped.
tell people I'm not racist anymore.
Right. I'm like, first of all, like, this show is really tripping me out. He stopped for the dead nigga. Like, are you serious?
This show is just pissing me. I mean, it's a good show, but it's just all sorts of pissing me off.
Right. Like, first of all, a white man stopped for the dead nigga.
I
Okay.
mean, but let's think about this. He was forced
Mm-hmm.
from his home country
Mm-hmm.
over to America to
Right.
serve. So they probably had a lot to bond over there.
True.
Like they're in the same situation as me. And let's face it, as a race and a culture, we are super accepting of
Oh,
everybody.
shit.
What happened? What's going on?
Oh, shit.
Do we have breaking news? Is there breaking news?
284 to 214.
When I tell you, won't he do it? Okay.
Oh, sorry. I am so sorry. Live on Earth 2. If you're watching this, it's been called.
It's been called.
AP just called it for Biden at 284.
What is Fox News saying? That's when I will
that's the
believe
one that would trip me out. Let me see. Oh wow.
As there's now dead air. Sorry, you guys.
Right, sorry. Fox News.
Sorry, y'all. See, Fox News isn't saying it yet. They're still saying, okay, but now Chris is texting me. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Biden wins.
And Fox News is still saying 264, so they haven't called. What is it? It's the one that they wanted to call.
So CNN is saying it.
Wow, so Arizona got called. Arizona's been called, right?
No, we've been waiting. No, Nevada. We've been waiting on Nevada.
Nevada is good. Nevada hates this country. Somebody has beef.
No, Nevada just didn't want to be the first one to.
Mm-hmm. Just didn't want to be the swing state. Wow.
Like, look, y'all, we have 2 months until this man is officially out of office. We're not going to piss him off.
Right.
I'm not going to be the first one to call it. Somebody else go ahead and call it,
right. Because I mean, he still has the Trump Tower in Nevada, so they're still kind of really in Vegas, so they're still kind of partial to him a little bit.
Yeah. Arizona, you knew they weren't fucking with him after all the stuff he said about McCain.
No, they were not. And Arizona showed out. They said, nah, for John McCain, we not.
Not today.
Not today.
And thank you, Arizona, for not voting for Kanye or the third ticket.
The Green Party and all that BS.
Appreciate you, because that could have really just... But hey,
Right.
okay. So
VP's
as we
black, so that's amazing,
and a woman
and a woman,
still not going to that
amazing.
inauguration, but
It's COVID. What's wrong with you?
it's COVID. Even if it wasn't COVID, I went to the first inauguration for
Obama.
President Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, by the time I left, my like when it gets cold now, my fingertips and toes go numb. That's how
Oh,
cold it was then. Like,
yikes!
so I was like, I don't care what gets elected into office. It could be the first woman, black Martian, and I'm gonna watch at home from the TV. So I'll be under my blanket with my cocoa, weeping like a newborn child. But yeah, I'm gonna be here.
Right.
And with that segue,
All right, we're
now
back
that we will
to
officially be in the middle of the revolution.
seriously, like everything we've talked about today outside of the show is still leading into the revolution. Best part for me was when so Élise has been caught and Joseph has been caught. The best part was when Élise was standing up to the revolutionaries and she was like, well, I'm on your side for real. Like, you guys don't get it. And the one girl is like, how can you be on our side? You're gonna give us money? And I'm like, no, I have empathy. I empathize or I sympathize. I understand your cause. Like, I know it's not my fault that I was born where I was, but like, I get it. And I want to help you guys on that side. I will be a lot more help to you on this side of the aisle rather than, whatever it is you're trying to do. And I thought their plan was kind of stupid, like trying to get money from Elise's uncle.
Well, here's
person.
The thing.
All
right. Number one, they probably could have just asked her, hey,
facts.
Can you just chill out here for a little bit? We're going to send a ransom note. Because all of that was part of the distraction for them going in to rescue the rest of the fraternity and Oka. So that's why they did it. That's why they had the whole rant. Like, that whole scene was a distraction from what was going on. Yeah.
Right. And well, I thought the rescue attempt was kind of cool the way they played it. Like they started kind of like a pandemic in the jail. Like everyone got sick, but they got like better really, really quick. And then, but I didn't like what they did to Élise, and I didn't like that Albert was like 100% on it. Like, damn, like I mean,
listen,
is he still mad? Like, you can't really be mad at me that my dad did what he did.
Is the biggest ain't shit nigga. There were so many things about him in this episode that where I respect his fighting skills and his knife wielding skills.
Yes.
As a person, he fucking sucks.
He does. Like, he's a sucky person to his brother, to everybody. But go ahead.
So like the first thing is, Élise, she is about to make her getaway and she sees him, so she stops and she starts asking him questions like, what happened? Answer something. And all he does is like give her that punk ass half a hug, and then it's like, all right, y'all take her. And he lets him like nail her into a coffin.
Which was trash.
Which I don't understand. But unless, after the breakout, they were going to be like, she's in a coffin here, go get her. But, and then I think the biggest thing that pissed me off, and I know it had to, Joe had to be like, fight in the air,
in the
background. So when he comes to Joe and he says, hey, like, we need your help for this breakout that we're planning. And, Joe was like, no, I'm not going to help you. Number one, he doesn't even like come sit beside Joe and talk to him face to face. He's like sitting at the corner, sitting around like he's having a confessional or some shit. And so then Joe was like, thought you were dead. And he was like, no. And so, okay, what happened to you? So he explains, they basically gave me a choice. I could stay here, but they were going to kill everyone I love, or I could go off to America and fight in the war for them, and I could never come back, or they're going to kill everybody I love. And so Joe was like, and yet here you are. And he's like, well, I came here to save Oka. And so now Joe was like, who the fuck is this guy to you? Because if they told you, if you come back, we're going to kill everybody you love, and you came back for this dude, meaning you're willing to sacrifice all of our lives for this one guy. Okay. So then he's just like, oh, I owe him a debt. Like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. But then, like, when they actually get into the cell to free Oka, and, and he runs up to Oka and hugs him,
He's
like,
like,
oh, my
brother.
brother. And I was just
It's
sitting there
like,
like, bitch.
if this isn't the shittiest thing ever in life, like, you just called another man your brother in front of your actual
In
brother.
front of your actual brother who you
I
wouldn't even sit beside to have a
I would have
conversation.
shot him if I was Joe. But I mean, he
Everybody
wouldn't
would have been
die,
dead.
but he
It's
would have.
okay. They would have laid there for 10 minutes until
Right.
they re-upped or whatever. But like, no, I'm walking out in the hallway and telling on everyone.
Right. Brother, my ass. But nah, all of these things were happening, and I thought, like, so the police officers, right? The ones that, hold on, were those the police officers that killed Shorty's dad? Or was it someone?
Probably.
Right, but nah, they came into this thing today or last, that episode, and they were like, they were guarding the dude that came to tell them about Élise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so can we talk about the handmaid or the servant girl?
She's
Yo,
a ride or die for real.
if
Right.
there was a definition and a picture of ride or die in the dictionary, it's her.
It's her.
It's
Like,
her.
she really came through. She was gonna fuck
Facts.
up one plan, but she really came through for her homie
Right.
and that's what Élise was saying at the beginning. And so now we realize that her and could take whatever her name is. They're not the same person, but when she was like, you're gonna get yourself killed for these poor people, and she was like, you got my back. And she was basically like, Élise was like, you got my back, and the handmaid was like, you really have a lot of faith in me, because like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. When
But
push come to shove, we gonna see. I don't know right now, but listen.
okay, wait, let me. I've got this whole.
Oh man, it was like
Heavenly.
It was like, what's the name of the other show with the halo? It was like
Warrior
that.
Nun.
Yes,
Like,
I'm like, oh, check out
wait,
Warrior Nun
as
right
soon as
here.
Biden wins.
Right. Nah, but she really did do the ride or die thing. She went to the priest and she was like, listen, I don't have any cut cards. So if you don't tell me where my girl is right now,
If anything,
you're gonna find out where I'm from. Because she was like, have you ever heard of like blah 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 girls? She was like, I don't know. And she's like, oh well, you finna hear about us because like,
no.
you gotta.
Her discussion with the priest and her discussion with Madeline brings up some very interesting questions.
Go for it.
Because remember very interesting question, when just before they found out that Élise was missing, the handmaid, should really learn her name, and Madeline were
like Ophélie, Priscilla.
I mean, we can call her that.
I'm gonna find it. Don't worry.
I don't know what her name is.
Ophélie. There you go.
Ophélie,
I knew it was some, like
Shakespearean.
Yeah.
So Ophélie and Madeline are sitting there having their tea party or whatever they're doing. And Madeline is basically like, everybody thinks I'm a freak. And she's like, no, you're good. And Madeline is like, you guys are always lying to me. And she's like, we would never. And so then Madeline asks, okay, so then who are my real parents? Because I know the people who say that they're my parents, they're not my parents. And she's like, what you mean? But then the uncle comes up and is like, where's my niece? And so that whole conversation goes out the window. Right. But when Ophélie goes to talk to the priest, she's like, if Élise dies, if anything happens to her, there is nothing that can be done to save Madeline from that uncle. And so then the priest is like looking all taken aback.
Right.
So who is Madeline? What does the priest have to do with that? We know that he dabbles in orphans. So
I think, yeah, I don't know. Maybe is Madeline like heir to the throne or something? Is she the real, like, because I don't know. She's probably someone super duper important that we'll find out. I mean, essentially, she's the one telling us the
I
story.
was going to say she's the narrator, so
Yeah,
there's that.
so I don't know
We
how
already have that going.
Yeah, I don't know how we can hear her, but she's telling us. Let me
Still
stop.
trying to figure. And my other thing then, like, still thinking about this because every time I hear her like opening up the story, I'm like, how is she talking? So does she get infected with the hoodoo blood? And you know how it like heals everything, so that it heals her
Right.
vocal cords, and now she can talk. I don't theories.
Or maybe she's just signing and we hear her. You
You
know
hear her
what?
signing.
We just hear it, and they're translating her signs.
Or she
But
wrote a book and someone is reading it on her behalf.
true, so many things. Ultimately, I'm then the last fight at the end, right? The one I think you were alluding to about Bear having like super duper knife skills and gun skills, and like he can kill like a whole army of people
So ridiculous.
in like 2.5. Like first of all, they've escaped right the jail, and of course Joe doesn't leave because he wants to save the one guy. He's like, I'm gonna save you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna die, not on my watch.
Yeah, and Katara's like, why? Like, he's such a terrible person. He's gonna testify against you. You're
Right.
gonna go to jail. You about to lose your job. So let him die.
Let
And
him
let's
die
go.
and let's dip. And he's like, no. I think
No.
because the Hippocratic oath. I
Yeah.
swore oath to save
Mm-hmm.
lives. And so obviously, he has them, and they leave. They escape, right? And then out of nowhere, this is right why I think police everywhere are trash. In the middle of the city, of the market, you're firing
Just into the open crowd.
into the open crowd. How are you sure?
But it wasn't the cops though.
It was the black guards. It was the
they said it was the the somethings of Peru. I can't remember what they were, but I was like, Peruvians got it like that? That's how your aim is? Okay. All right.
But no, seriously, like into the crowd. They didn't give a fuck about the poor people.
They don't give a fuck about the poor people. Why would that even be shocking to you? Like, honestly, they're firing because their lives are disposable to them.
Right. They're like, you know what? We need to catch these people, and whoever gets shot in the process, well,
if they die, they die.
Facts. And so it's like, pew, pew. But obviously they hit who they're aiming for, or two of the people they're aiming for, and everyone else hides. And then it's like this big fight thing, and you just see Albert like everyone's like, "No, stay down," and Albert's like, "No." Boom, 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 duck, stab, like, and the funniest part was like, so Élise magically escapes her nailed coffin.
Can we just talk about how Élise is not your typical damsel in distress? Like,
I love it
really
though.
not sitting around waiting for niggas to come rescue her.
I know she's
made her way out
yelling
of the
help, right?
Yeah, made her way out of her ropes and got the two guns and was like,
they're like, "How good are you?"
Yeah, and they're underestimating her because she's rich. Like, do you even know how to use that? And she's like, "Oh, word, okay."
Like,
shoots my man's hat off. And like, her one downfall is love, because like, had she had not stopped to talk to Albert, she would have been gone.
Right.
And then in the coffin, she's like sitting there like, okay, can somebody please help me? Nobody's coming. So she's like, all right, guess I got to do this shit myself too. And like breaks her way out of that. And again, the only reason she stops is because
this stupid nigga.
Slow motion eye contact scene. Like, no, girl, run.
And then he gets stabbed. Which I was okay with. I was like, yes. But I was like, he's not gonna die. But yes.
Yeah. So it doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you for this episode. But boo. Like, he gets like the main soldier of Peru or whatever, the Peru guy stabs him like, like, yes. And then Élise, who is like at least a yard away. Next scene, she's like over him, like, like, and the worst part is like he stabs him. He's dead or almost dead, right? And he gets up and he's walking, and he sees Oka and he's about to like shoot Oka, and of course I'm like, so they broke this nigga out to kill this nigga, like, Isn't this the worst?
This is
But of
terrible. But
course,
then Face Mask comes through with the hatchet.
right? Takes
Oh,
his hand off,
that was
and is about to
satisfying.
kill him. And Oka is like, "No, we will need him in the future." And I'm like,
Because he's got that voodoo psychic future seeing thing happening.
"Okay, okay, we'll just go with that. We'll go with that. We'll just go with that." But okay, so now we come back to Élise, who's like crying all over this man's body, touching all his black blood, and I'm like, "Don't touch his
Right.
gross
Like,
blood."
girl, that's how you get hepatitis.
You're right.
Stop touching him.
It's like just all over his black blood, and next thing you know, you see him like come back to life, and I'm like, oh, they couldn't just let him, because it looked like he got stabbed in the wound, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, maybe that's like his kryptonite. He gets stabbed there, and that's how the revolution starts, because now he's dead,
Beheaded.
and then his people are like, oh my god, they killed Albert, we gotta kill everybody.
Avenge Albert.
Right, but apparently that's not how it starts, so never mind.
No. It started with poor people wanting to not be taxed so fucking much. That's how it started.
Shoot, that's why they voted this man out. Anyways, let's talk about.
If you let 50 tell it.
Let's talk about Uncle and his weird son for like a quick second, because I think that was kind of also important, because
ain't shit ass Uncle.
Son wakes up, Son hugs Uncle at the end of last episode, and Uncle puts Son in the weirdest place ever.
He just like
he chains him to this thing
in the middle of the praying tree. Is like, remember in Game of Thrones they had that tree that everybody like was the old gods. Like he chained him to the tree of the old gods, and then just left him there. No food, no water, no comic books. Like he's just out there trying to like break from this chain. And I have to wonder, is like you see, part of me is like, you could have just put him in the basement with your brother.
Right.
But then I guess if he did that, then that would have to be admitting to his brother that I'm really not trying to cure you.
Right.
I'm just using your blood so I can start my own army of like people like who won't die.
Because you did see that tree had like other posts around it, right? Because when they did the sky shot, you saw like other, I think maybe Mom is there.
Maybe Mom is there, because right now we think Mom killed herself from what the daughter said. Like, basically, he's just a terrible person who...
He really is. He's the worst.
For strong optics, he will let everybody fucking die before he will throw them a friggin' bone for any kind of, like...
Facts.
Healthcare. Like, universal healthcare.
Universal healthcare? No. You poor.
Be strong. Heal yourself.
Right. Heal yourself. Cut your own leg by yourself and amputate like, yourself.
No son of mine will be an amputee. Like, he could live. Like, no. If he has to live without an appendage, then he can just go ahead and die.
Just go ahead and die. Matter of fact, I'll kill him myself.
Willing to fucking risk his life.
Right.
On a hunch.
Untested medicine. Hydrochloroquine and bleach.
That's cure. Right. Fortunately for him, this cure worked. But
right.
My second thought was, is it because after they're turned, they become ravenous or something? So he put him out there until he goes through like his detox period.
Possibly. I think that's really what it is. It's like detox. And maybe like the fact that Mom isn't here is because she's not detoxed, or she never detoxed. Like it's a thing where the strong survive, and then the weak, continue to just deteriorate. You know, so maybe maybe his son will survive, or will survive that whole ordeal. So it should be interesting seeing how that plays out.
Yeah, my last thought was that he just really needed to keep him out of sight, and he had no other place to hide him.
Because he got places.
When the sister last saw him, he was in bad shape. Like, his leg was broken in half,
right?
And he was all pussy and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
and pale, and looking like he's 2 seconds away from kicking it. And, you know, now he looks better. And so you can't just have him still laying there in the bed like, oh, my leg. So,
oh, my leg.
And he also didn't agree with what his dad did.
No, he didn't.
So now you got to stay out here until you change your mind or until I figure out how to reintegrate you. Because he's like, he told the sister,
he's
sent
away
him
for
off for
treatment.
better treatment.
Right.
So now he can come back and be like, see, he didn't need to lose his leg. Just had to put some tussin on it and sleep it off. And now he's better.
Not tussin.
You're welcome.
Not tussin. But yeah, there's a lot to unpack with nephew or with son when he comes back, or if he comes back. That'd be interesting to see. I want to see how they bring him back. I also want to see what happens with Élise. Does she realize what's going on? You know, that uncle ain't shit. I mean, she has kind of an idea that uncle ain't shit.
She already knows. She doesn't know the level of his ain't shit.
Yeah, so, but if the dad isn't back and uncle can't take power for himself, if his son comes back, does that mean his son takes power?
I don't think so. I think basically somebody has to marry Élise and take power.
Right.
I think that's how it works. Also, when we find out that Élise is kidnapped and they deliver the ransom note to uncle and he goes into the hood, like he goes into the ghetto to be like, where the fuck is my niece? Is that a real person?
Yeah, that is. Could be a real person.
Hi, Alexa.
Right.
As long as you're not a bot.
It started. Oh God. Oh man.
Yeah. So Uncle is basically like, I'm not paying y'all a motherfucking thing.
Right.
And the person who he comes to ask is like, if anything that you do to me, they're gonna do to your niece. And Uncle is still kind of sitting there like,
okay.
All right. And the guy that Élise was talking to in the beginning, he comes through. And he's like, I'll pay it. Like, it's 30 grand. It's not even that much.
They got money like that, yo. Like, you just sitting there with money. Like, 30 grand just like that. And he did have it in the little crate. In the
yeah, like
he was standing on the chest like,
because he's like
Captain Morgan, like, I got this.
Élise is the hope of the future. Like, she's basically the one who can bridge the gap between all of us. And if she goes, that's it.
Yeah, the poor and the rich.
But also, like, it's fucked up. But I also like the way whoever is working, you know, focused on the imagery, how they really do a good contrast of the rich and the poor. Because my man came out there in his powder blue joint, like.
Yo.
Look at this pastel situation I've got going on, and everybody else is in like muddy brown,
dirty, like, with dirt on their faces.
Poor.
No, they're like
understand how impoverished we are. We can't afford color at all.
Right.
None of it.
It was white at one point. I'll tell you that.
Maybe like because everything in that area is the same color. The sand is dirt brown. The buildings are dirt brown. The clothes, like just everything is
the same. Like no, they have to let you know how poor these people are, and I guess you know, it just makes sense to have them like look the way they do. But yeah, so that is episode 3 of La Révolution, The Innocents.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Last point. When like after they've devised the plan and they're putting everything in motion to go break into the jail to break out Oka. Which was just a fucked up plan of let's give everyone
right
and let them shit themselves and vomit all over the place. But when Joe is talking to Katara and he's like, you know, I guess, you know, you just make a habit of misleading people and all of this stuff. And, you know, because you just want to make people think. And she cuts him off and she hits him with the ain't shit line. I wrote it down because I was like, damn. She was like, she didn't say it, but, you know, basically like today's form of, did I ever say we were together?
Facts.
I ain't tell you we were a couple.
You just thought, you thought she was about to get some of this, but.
You thought. You saw
Facts.
it.
And super ancient, but it is what it is
For the culture.
for the streets. Um, he's literally on the streets. But yeah, no, yeah. So 100%, I'm excited to see where the show goes. As you said, every time, every episode has gotten like progressively better, and it's more information and more stuff for us to accept. So I'm liking where it's going. I'm interested to see where it's going. I'm interested to see what happens with like Elise and Bear and even Joe because he stayed back. So is he in trouble? Is he not? Is the guy gonna testify? He's gonna be like, nah, he saved my life. So you know what? Nah, it's okay.
I think the guy might still try to testify, but also Joe can be like, nigga, you got shot. He's delirious. He doesn't even know what he saw. Why would I stay and save his
Right,
life if
right,
I was guilty?
right,
I was a pawn in this, just like the rest of y'all.
right. So that'd be interesting to see. Also, who is Oka to homie? Like, seriously, brother? Joe should have punched him in his neck.
Right in the back of his fucking head. Brother!
Seriously. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for La Revolution. We will catch you next week for episode 4. Till then, goodbye. And he really won. That's crazy. Peace.